Teen dramas have a way of pushing boundaries, but sometimes they cross the line into deeply uncomfortable territory, like romanticizing relationships with problematic age gaps. From student-teacher flings to power imbalances wrapped in dramatic storylines, these relationships often raise serious ethical concerns that are too often overlooked. While they might add shock value or drama to the show, the portrayal of these dynamics can send troubling messages to younger audiences. So in this video, we'll take a critical look at some of the most controversial age gap romances in teen shows. Julie Cooper and Luke Ward, The O.C. Few romances on The O.C. raised eyebrows like the brief affair between Julie Cooper, the manipulative mother of Marissa, and Luke Ward, her teenage daughter's ex-boyfriend. Their fling was shocking not only because of the significant age gap, but also because of the messy family dynamics it created. The storyline leaned heavily on drama and scandal, playing into Julie's chaotic personality and Luke's immaturity. While the show framed the relationship as a fleeting mistake, the ethical concerns were impossible to ignore. Ultimately, it highlighted Julie's self-destructive tendencies and Luke's naivete, making it one of the OC's most controversial plotlines. Tim Riggins and Jackie Miller, Friday Night Lights. In Friday Night Lights, bad boy Tim Riggins often found himself in complicated situations, but his relationship with his neighbor Jackie Miller was one of the show's most eyebrow-raising storylines. Jackie, significantly older than Tim and a parent to a young son, engaged in a fling with the high school football star, creating a dynamic that was both uncomfortable and messy. While the show leaned into Tim's charm and Jackie's vulnerability, it failed to fully address the ethical concerns. Their relationship didn't last long, and Jackie's eventual departure left Tim to focus on his own growth. Still, this storyline remains one of the show's more serious missteps. Serena Woodsen and Ben Donovan, Gossip Girl. Serena's love life on Gossip Girl was always full of drama, but her relationship with Ben Donovan was particularly messy. Ben, a former teacher at Serena's boarding school, was sent to prison because of having an affair with her. After his release, the two started an actual relationship, which blurred the lines between redemption and discomfort. While the show attempted to frame Ben as a victim of circumstance and their pairing as a second chance, the dynamic was hard to fully embrace given their history and the lingering power imbalance. It's definitely one of Gossip Girl's most complicated and weirdest romances. Daphne Paloma and Jeff Reycraft, Switched at Birth. Daphne's romance with Jeff, her much older boss, in Switched at Birth was one of the show's more polarizing storylines. Jeff was the head chef at the restaurant where high schooler Daphne worked, and despite his initial misgivings about Daphne, they eventually grew closer and started a relationship. Jeff's position as her boss and his age instantly made the dynamic feel uncomfortable and inappropriate. The show didn't shy away from the awkwardness of their pairing, but it also left many viewers wondering why it needed to happen at all. Thankfully, their romance was short-lived, leaving Daphne to pursue healthier, age-appropriate relationships. Chris Miles and Angie, Skins. Leave it to Skins to deliver one of the most boundary-pushing storylines with Chris's fling with Angie, his psychology teacher. Chris, the lovable troublemaker with a knack for chaos, found himself drawn to Angie, who shockingly reciprocated his feelings. While their dynamic was rooted in Chris's vulnerability and Angie's poor judgment, the glaring power imbalance made their relationship deeply unsettling. The show's raw and unapologetic style leaned into the messiness, but it didn't fully reckon with the ethical concerns of a teacher-student romance. Their fling was so short-lived and filled with drama that it left viewers divided over whether it added depth to Chris's story or simply crossed a line. Archie Andrews and Geraldine Grundy, Riverdale. Riverdale wasted no time diving into controversy in its first season, with Archie's affair with his music teacher, Miss Grundy. Their relationship began during the summer before Archie's sophomore year and was revealed as a passionate secret, but the clear power imbalance and Miss Grundy's position as a teacher made it a deeply problematic dynamic. The storyline framed Archie as a willing participant, but the reality of the situation leaned heavily into exploitation. And Miss Grundy's suspicious history with other students only added to the discomfort. While the plotline ended quickly when Miss Grundy left town, it remains one of Riverdale's most criticized storylines. Aria Montgomery and Ezra Fitz, Pretty Little Liars. As a show known for its twists and controversies, it's no wonder Pretty Little Liars delivered one of the most dubious romances of the 2010s with the relationship between Aria and her English teacher, Ezra Fitz. Their forbidden connection, fueled by a shared love of literature, initially captivated viewers with its intensity and secrecy. However, the inherent power imbalance between a student and her teacher quickly blurred the lines between healthy and predatory. While the show attempted to justify their relationship with soulmate declarations, the relationship was still undeniably problematic. To this day, the Aria and Ezra storyline remains deeply divisive and raises concerns about the message it conveyed. Noah Puckerman and Shelby Corcoran, Glee. Glee was never afraid of controversy, but Puck and Shelby's relationship crossed into seriously uncomfortable territory. Shelby Corcoran, Rachel Berry's biological mother, briefly engaged in a romantic storyline with Puck, the teenager whose baby she adopted. While the show framed Puck as the pursuer, showcasing his emotional maturity, the age gap couldn't be ignored. Shelby was an adult, and their connection raised significant ethical concerns. While Glee thrived on drama, this pairing felt unnecessary and inappropriate, leaving fans cringing at its inclusion and questioning why it was ever explored. Pacey Witter and Tamara Jacobs, Dawson's Creek. This teen drama often explored unconventional relationships, but Pacey Witter's romance with his teacher, Ms. Jacobs, pushed the boundaries of acceptability. This wasn't just your typical high school crush. This was a full-blown, forbidden affair that had everyone talking. As the OG teen drama teacher-student romance between the bad boy best friend to the town's golden boy and his sophisticated worldly English teacher, it felt a little like a teenage fantasy come to life, and not in a good way. The show tried to spin it with talk of emotional maturity, but let's be honest, their connection was inappropriate from the start. It was definitely a line that shouldn't have been crossed and made Dawson's Creek a must-watch for all the wrong reasons. Paris Geller and Asher Fleming, Gilmore Girls. Paris Geller has always been one to march to the beat of her own drum, and her relationship with Asher Fleming, a much older Yale professor, was no exception. Asher's worldliness seemed to intrigue Paris, a young woman always hungry for knowledge and intellectual challenges. While their romance was framed as unconventional and humorous, the glaring age gap and Asher's position of authority made it uncomfortable for many viewers. Though Gilmore Girls leaned into the absurdity of the pairing, it also glossed over the complexities and power imbalance involved. Ultimately, Asher's sudden death brought the relationship to an abrupt end, leaving fans with mixed feelings about this controversial storyline. Do you agree with our picks for the most uncomfortable age gap romances in teen shows? Are there any couples you'd like to add to this list? Let us know in the comments. Press like if you enjoyed this video, check out tvshowpilot.com for articles on all your favorite shows, and don't forget to subscribe to the TV Show Pilot YouTube channel for more videos like this.